Okay, today we are going to be talking, and for the next few days, about distribution, whoops, and combining like terms. So before we get into multi-step equations, meaning two or more steps, we're going to go back and review a little bit what you guys have done in the past. So we're going to look at two things that are going to really help us solve multi-step equations, and they are going to involve distribution. Now, if we remember back from distribution, distribute means multiply. When I distribute, I perform the mathematical operation of multiplication. Best way to do these is just look at examples. So we're going to do that. Here I have -4 times the quantity 4 plus 8x. And again, distribute means multiply. So I simply take this -4, and remember, it is a -4. I like to circle it, so I remember to include that negative. I like to draw lines, so it shows my steps. Distribute means multiply. I take a -4 times a +4. A negative times a positive will give me a negative answer. 4 times 4 is 16. I now have to distribute to everything in this parenthesis. So I have to take that -4 and now multiply it by a +8x. -4 times a +8x gives me a -32x. That's it. That's all I have to do. We cannot simplify this because these are not what we call like terms. In order to be like terms, they have to have the same variable with the same exponent. -16 does not have the variable x with it. I can't combine this -16 and this -32. Can't do it. They're not like terms. If I have everything I need, I can box in the answer. Let's look at another one. Now I have negative times the quantity 2x plus 6. We have to be very careful with this negative out here. A lot of mistakes are made with that. This is saying I want the opposite of what's inside these parentheses by the sign. If I write the number 3, isn't the number 3 really equal to 3 times 1? It is. But do I write 3 times 1? No, we don't, because it's assumed that that's what the answer is. But just because I don't write the 1 doesn't mean it's not there. I don't write it like this, 3 times 1. I write it like this, 3. But that 1 is really there. The same thing's going to hold true here. I'm multiplying by a negative, and more specifically, I'm multiplying by a -1. So if it helps you to put that 1 in there when there's nothing there except that negative sign, go ahead and do it. Now I have -1 that needs to be multiplied by 2x. Well, -1 times a +2, negative times a positive gives me a negative, and I have 2x. Negative times a positive gives me a negative. 1 times 6, 6. And again, these are not like terms. The 6 doesn't have a variable with it. The 2 has one with it. They are not like terms. I cannot combine them. And I'm done. Next problem. -8 times the quantity -x plus 3. Again, just simple distribution, but what I wanted to point out to you is I need to distribute this -8, and the same thing's gonna hold true up here. Just because there's nothing in front of this x, we assume it to be a 1. X is the same as x times 1. But I don't write it as x times 1, I just write x, because it gives me that number out or that variable. I still have to consider my negative signs though. Negative times a negative is a positive. 8 times 1x, 8x. Negative times a positive would give me a negative. 8 times 3, 24. No like terms, nothing more to combine. I'm done. Next example. -6 times 4 minus 7k. Go ahead and pause the video. Do this out. Then come back together and see if you got the same as I did. All right, hopefully your guys' steps went something like this. -6 times +4 would give me a -24. A -6 times a -7k. Negative times a negative is a positive. 6 times 7, 40, whoops. That leaves me with 42k. And again, no like terms, so I'm done. You could arrange this. Lots of times we'll write the variables first. I'm certainly not gonna mark you off for it, but as we get going forward, I'm gonna rewrite this as 42k subtract 24. Either one of those answers is acceptable. You certainly don't have to rearrange it now. It's just something to think about as we go forward. Convention's gonna tell us I want those variables first. And even more specific, when we get some exponents on there, we're gonna order our exponents, but that's coming down the road. Next thing we need to look at, combining like terms. So when you guys have your sheet that you are working on, you're gonna start out with some distribution like we did up here, but now we're gonna have to do maybe distribution twice or add some stuff together at the very end. So here's an example. -4 times the quantity y plus 6 plus 2y. I see I have some distribution here. Here's my -4, which I need to distribute. -4 times y, remember that's a 1y, and you certainly can write it there if you'd like. -4 times 1, negative times a positive gives me a negative. -4 times 1, -4, and I have my y. -4 times +6, negative times a positive is a negative. 4 times 6 is 24. Now here's the mistake people make. This -4, because of this addition sign right here, it's not multiplication. This 2y is not included in that quantity. You do not distribute that -4 to that 2y. Why? Because it's outside of the parentheses. It's telling me to multiply -4 times everything inside the parentheses. This plus 2y just means that I add it on at the end. I just leave it the way it is. Now though, unlike our ones at the top, down here, I absolutely have some like terms that I can combine. I have a -4y and a +2y. And again, notice how I circled those including their signs, because when I combine, I'm gonna add them up. If I was taking the amount of money that I had in my pocket with maybe one of yours in your pocket, and we wanted to pool our money together, combine our money, we'd add that money up. If I had $5 and you had $10, we'd have $15. I don't multiply them. I add them, I combine them. So I have a negative 4y plus 2y. Negative 4 plus 2 is a negative 2, and I have my y. I'm going to lightly cross those out to know I took care of them. And now I have subtract 24, and I have my solution. One thing that always trips students up is I'm going to write this exact problem a different way. I'm going to put that 2y out front. So I'll say negative 2y, not negative 2y, I'm sorry, positive 2y, subtract 4 times the quantity y plus 6. Common mistake people make. They will take this 2y and they will start distributing to the parentheses, or they will take this 2y and multiply it by negative 4. That's not what we do. With this subtraction in here, this is saying 2 times y, subtract the quantity 4 times y plus 6. And order of operations tells me that multiplication would come before subtraction. So I can't, these aren't even like terms anyway, so I can't even subtract them. The first thing you have to do is what we did right back here. The 2y would stay, and I would have minus 4y minus 24. Now it's just in a little bit different order, but I still have a positive 2y subtract 4y, which still gives me negative 2y subtract 24. So you see I get the same results, whether it is added on the front or added on the back. Doesn't matter where I add that 2y, and you'll see it written both ways when you're presented with problems. 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. So is 2 plus 3. Order does not matter in multiplication or addition, but it certainly matters in subtraction and division. Next example, you will see stuff where you have multiple variables. And the point I just want to make on this one is that when I'm combining like terms, they have to have the same variable with the same exponent. I have 2 different variables, but I have a 2x and a positive 7x that I can combine. 2x plus 7x, 9x. Then I have this 4y and this positive 3y. I need to combine those as well. 4y plus 3y plus 7y. This is my answer. I cannot combine these variables because they are different. It's apples and oranges. If I have 9 apples and 7 oranges, I don't have 16 apples or 16 oranges. I have 9 apples, 7 oranges. No matter how I cut it, that's my answer. Cannot combine those. They're not like terms. (6x plus 4 minus 2x). I'm going to combine like terms. I see some x's here. I'll circle them. 6x minus 2x. 6x minus 2x is 4x. That takes care of my x's. Plus 4. Those are not like terms. I cannot combine those, and I am finished. On the sheet that is presented to you in there will be ones that are nice and straightforward, and there will be ones where I'm using combinations of this. Whether I put 2 or 3 of these together for you, where you have to distribute multiple times and combine multiple terms, your steps are always going to be the same. You're going to want to distribute and then combine like terms, no matter how long the problem is. I'll definitely be looking for some to pick out to see if we're getting it, but hopefully these notes help you get through the assignment.